If you've listened to this podcast, then you know the Tighten Up's brought to you by Last Shot Premium Hydration, the official hydration drink of Tighten Up. Their revolutionary formula is packed with vitamin B12 and 0 grams of sugar. It helps the Titans hydrate, replenish, and recover. Try it at Callahan Hall or learn more at lastshotofficial.com.
Hey guys, it's Antoine Davis. Let's tighten up.
Detroit, it's time to tighten up. Welcome to Tighten Up, the podcast, presented by The Shield NIL. Brought to you by Hyperice and Last Shot Energy. A state of the Titans, the latest in Detroit Mercy athletics, and a chance to hear from Titans all over the world. Here's your host, Dan Hasty.
Mark Montgomery, the head coach of Detroit Mercy, joins us right now as we get a chance to visit with the coach on this Meyer guest line on this Tuesday afternoon. Monty, good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's awesome to be able to get you on here and check in. I know we're in the middle of the summer months, but every once in a while I'll check just to see if the recruiting window is open or closed or back open again. So what part of the off season are you guys in right now?
The off season as in the student athletes are headed back to campus. Most of the guys will be in on the 16th. We're going to start back up on the 18th. But the recruiting season's here. We have a kid coming up this Friday, a 6'9" kid, so we're looking forward to that. It's like you're always recruiting. And then you're at the high school event. I know the Michigan High School Association event, BCAM, that's at Grand Valley State. That's in 2 weeks. And then we're at another event in Sandusky for a weekend. So you get to see him with the high school team in June now, and then you get to see him with the AAU team for a couple weekends in July. But, we're working for 8 straight weeks with our guys, so it's a fun time right now, Dan, to be honest with you.
You're always working for recruiting. Is it also safe to say that you're sort of also always working to retain, especially in this day and age?
Well, the good news is that the transfer portal is closed, so we're going to retain. But, you got to be retained for the second semester. So, it opens back up. But usually who you start with is who you finish with, but it doesn't mean that you're going to have that same team next year. Other than I think we have 3 seniors on this roster. But I heard another coach said it best. Anytime you could have, if you're dealing with 12 players, even though the scholarship limit is at 15, but if you're playing with 12 and you have 4 coming back and you have 4 freshmen and you have 4 out the portal, that's 12 guys. We have 6 coming back this year, and we're bringing in 7. So if you can go with the third, 4, 4, and 4, you're probably doing pretty good right now in college basketball until things settle down.
Having 6 different players coming back feels like a pretty solid number where we currently sit in college basketball. So take us through some of the guys that you're bringing back, because when you came in, essentially it was kind of a total overhaul. You had a couple of holdovers, but you've really been able to kind of put this stamp in your vision on this team to this point.
Yeah, well, the best thing we say, Dan, when I was coming in, they were probably returning about, 20 points. With our 6 returners coming back, we have over 50-some points. We only scored about 70-some points. So that's the good news. And the good news is Orlando Lovejoy's coming back, and he's averaging 17 points. And then we have about 4 or 5 guys that get between 8 and 11 points. So I'm excited because we have a point guard coming back. We have a couple guards, which is wing players. We could play Legend Jeter at the 4. We could play Ryan Calaby at the 5. So the 6 guys coming back, and then we have Jared Larry, another young man's coming back. That his sophomore season ended kind of early because of that ACL injury at Eastern Michigan. But he was averaging double figures. So when you have some points returning, and it's not, you have to start totally fresh on the 18th. So if you call out a couple of drills, at least your returning players know what to do, and they can help instruct. And I'm just looking forward to, we got some talented freshmen coming in. We got some talented transfers. What I tried to do is upgrade our three-point shooting. where we're only making 5 a game last year, we have to be at 10 to 14. So I'm looking forward to some of those newcomers that, like Joey Liddell, who started here and left, and now he's coming back. He made 181 threes at his junior college. So that gets me excited. And we have some other Detroit guys coming in. So I'm just excited that we got some shooting, or we have some shooting now, because I want to shoot the three. Keyshawn Fisher is a name that you're going to hear about, talented freshman that was at OTE down in Atlanta, that he was a River Rouge kid. Tyler Spratt, he was at Cleveland State. He's coming home. Lance Stone, a Renaissance product. He's going to be a freshman. So we have a good nucleus of some homegrown Detroit-made, Michigan-made players, and then you sprinkle in, you always got to have a wide body. We have a 6'8", 265, to be honest with you, kid, London Maiden, that he started off at Kent State. Now we're going to get him. So I'm kind of excited about our roster moving forward.
Yeah, the young players. I mean, you brought in some young players last year that contributed. Lance Stone was actually a finalist for Michigan Mr. Basketball. So, there are some really talented guys coming in this season. So let's zoom out a little bit. The big settlement was reached determining spending in college sports, NIL. Detroit Mercy's in the Horizon League, for those who don't know. I know that settlement was geared towards curbing some of the work from bigger schools, some of the Power 5, Power 6 conferences. But what do you notice, or what do you feel that impacts you on your level where you're at right now?
Well, analytics / fan / guys, I think they know the NCAA for the financial thing. The big schools are probably going to get about $20 million. That's what everyone's saying. We're probably going to be between the $6 and $1 million. So wherever that leads us, it's more money than we have now. So we're not at zero. Their revenue, their TV, what they put out is a lot more than we put out, but we're going to have something. So we're going to have some money to play around with. And what we do with that money is still yet to be seen. We haven't got the check yet, but I always say some should go to the NIL, some should go to the building, some should go to, building, upgrading your facilities. There's locker rooms, video rooms. We're building a new training facility, training room. So every little penny helps, but at the same time, the student athletes still can earn a name, image, and likeness and still get money from the school and from collectives, which is nice.
Take me back to the young players. Most of your core is young underclassmen. Of course, you've got a leader in a guy like Orlando Lovejoy, who started his college career at Eastern Michigan, and now, he's got 313 tattooed on his arm. It only means that he should have been at Detroit Mercy from the very beginning. But, you were at Michigan State for a long, long time. You were with Tom Izzo. Of course, then you also spent time as the head coach at Northern Illinois, who's actually heading into the Horizon League not too long from now. But, at Michigan State, it always felt like when you were going to play for a Tom Izzo team, one of the things that was going to take place was a focus on development. What strategies or philosophies from your time there at Michigan State have you really been able to kind of identify with what you're now doing, especially in this new position that you've had now going into the second season at Detroit Mercy?
Well, your brain is always with, development of players and relationship with players, but it really starts in the summer. Our key focus is, first of all, our strength and conditioning. I want to play faster. We're going to pick up 94 feet. So their first main exercise is, let's see where you're at right now in the mile run, and then we got to get stronger. And then another emphasis is on the fundamentals. No matter what, you still have to dribble, and you still have to shoot, and you still have to pass. So we're going to drill that for 6 to 7 to 8 weeks this summer. And then, of course, you want to get up and down and you want to play. That's fine. But the toughness, the grittiness, the sacrifices you have to make in the summer is going to help you in the fall and winter. But it starts with the toughness training where you're getting them up, and the kid has to sacrifice some of his time because we only get 4 hours in the summer. So those other 4 hours, when they take a class, great, but then after that, you have to instill that you have to come back in after and get shots up, play one-on-one, get in with a teammate, team bonding things. But those extra hours that you can get better at your game, I'm always going to challenge my guys. Hey, this summer, let's knock down 200 made threes. So in the fall and winter when we're playing and we're trying to make a run for March Madness, we have to make shots. At this level, you have to make shots and you have to make threes. So that's a big emphasis that I'm concentrating on this summer.
We're talking with Mark Montgomery, the head coach at the University of Detroit Mercy men's basketball team. So I've gotten to know you a bit. You were an assistant coach very briefly with Detroit Mercy back in 2021. Then you went back to MSU, and now you're back as head coach. I'm curious because I've seen some of the guys that you've been able to get to commit, especially during this particular cycle. You've had a chance to really attack a full off season. But what have you noticed that are the best selling points about selling kids on your school? Because you've gotten some legit kids lately.
Right. Of course, you always start with the degree, but you're hoping he's going to stay 4 years. Detroit Mercy is an unbelievable institution. So you're going to get them with that. But then also a chance to put your footprint in the sand, that we can get Detroit Mercy back to the NCAA tournament. It's not been forever, but it seemed like it's been a long time. So, and then in a chance we can win our conference. If you look at the Horizon League, the last 5 years, it's been 5 different representatives. And I don't have to go through it from Robert Morris to Oakland to Cleveland State to if it's NKU. So Robert Morris was picked, I think it's 11 teams. They were picked 8th last year, and they won it. So you just have to get the right group of guys to buy into your system, to defend, rebound, share the ball, take care of it, and good things can happen. But I think playing time, playing style, I have been a part of winning programs. I have been in March over 20 years of my career in that NCAA tournament. I've had players that have gone on and been professionals, if it's in the NBA, Europe, or wherever it is. So, and then I do try to develop relationships with our players and be close with them. So I'm older, but I'm not far removed. I still speak their language. I still bring great energy and effort every single day, and they know I'm going to bring it. And I think players and parents appreciate that. And I think also through high school coaches and AAU coaches that I've been in this state, played, came out of here, played, come back. I think the relationships I've built with some coaches and some people within this community has helped. So I'm looking forward to a TJ Nadeau, who's from Catholic Central, that he averaged almost 10 points, or Nate Johnson, who's coming from Grand Rapids Christian, that he was on the all-freshman team. I'm glad that we retained these guys, and I think we're going to make a really big run at it this year, and I think we're going to make a huge jump where we're competing for the championship this second year.
One thing that you'll enjoy about watching the Titans is that they pride themselves on energy, effort, and when they got into close games last year, by and large, that was when they were at their absolute best. It was just needing to get into more of those types of situations. And with some of the guys that you've brought in, I got a good feeling about what you have coming up. Are you watching the NBA Finals? Because Tyrese Halliburton is on like a heater of Steph Curry levels.
And I can't stay away from basketball. Great series. I wish Tyrese would have had that game too. Like he finished game 1, but 2 good teams. Two great teams that have 2 lead guards, and I think what I've stolen from those 2 teams, depth matters. Like when Golden State wanted strength in numbers, I'm looking forward to we can have 8, 9, 10, 11 players get out there and perform. I don't know where Wiggins came from the other day, but all I know is he had 6 threes in 18, and he didn't play the last 3 games. So if you can bring that kind of depth off the bench and that development, it's only going to help your chances.
Mark Montgomery, the head coach of Detroit Mercy basketball, joining us on the Meyer guest line. Monty, keep up the good work this offseason. Excited to catch up with you as we get closer to the start of college basketball season once again. Thank you very much for taking the time.
All right, Dan, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tighten Up, the podcast. Join our community at The Shield on theshieldnil.org. and follow us on X and Instagram at The Shield NIL.
If I can tell you one thing above all else as part of this show, it would be this. If you're unfamiliar, if you haven't done it before, join the community at The Shield Online. It's online at theshieldnil.org. That's theshieldnil.org.